If you're planning on installing poly bushings in your Pontiac, go ahead and just wait until we finish this video. You're going to want to. Sometime in the early 70s, Pontiac and GM in general switched to clamshell mounts. These clamshell mounts are synonymous with small block Chevy, basically any engine that they had at that point. We're going to begin by removing the motor mounts from the chassis itself. In this case, a 78 Firebird. Reaching inside the subframe with an open end wrench and using a ratchet to remove the bolts, we get those things out of there, or at least loosened to where we can get the motor mounts up off the chassis. Once that's done, we can then drill out the motor mount rivets. Once that's done and they're separated, then we're going to take the rubber out of it, throw it in the trash. Not going to use that. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our poly bushings and go ahead and throw those in. The thing you're going to notice here is they're not going to fit, and this is by design. So what you're going to do is you can either go their method of zip tying them together as tight as you possibly can with supplied zip ties, or take our method of bolt stupid things together, zip zap, weld them together, and now you've got something that's a little more solid and not going to fall apart on you. Now I say this because as I was sitting there talking to my dad in the shop, we heard a loud bang, and one of the zip ties blew and hucked a socket across the garage. At that point, we're like, yeah, welding is the way to go. So we did that on the second one as well, just to kind of make sure that we got it nice and solid. So once that was done, then we moved on to getting it back into the car. Now, this is where things got interesting. Now, mounting it back in the car is super easy. You've got adjustments up and down, so you drop the engine in, figure out where you need it, and lift those up, and get it just right. The problem that we ran into is with the Pontiac engines, it didn't work. I did this probably 5 or 6 times before I figured out why. So I'm sitting there doing my thing, just getting irritated, and I text Nate over Heavy Pedal Garage. It's like, hey man, struggling with these things. It's like, oh yeah, pretty sure I had to do something with those. It's like, that's right, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere at some point, cut the tabs off. So, that's exactly what I did. Went back out in the garage, cut those tabs off, dropped the engine in, went in no problem at that point, throw the bolts in, and the engine is right where it's supposed to be. Lesson learned here is if you have a Pontiac engine going into a later Pontiac car, the clamshell motor mounts, you're probably going to need to go ahead and cut those tabs off while they're out, do it while it's easy, and just put your engine in the first time instead of the 8th or 9th or 12th time. If this video helped you out, do all the things you gotta do on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. You know what we're doing here. Have a good one, and I will see you on the road.